Welcome back to Your World Tonight. And these are the headlines we're tracking for you right now. British Prime Minister Theresa May lays out a 12-point strategy for Brexit. Says the country will seek a free trade pact with the European Union and that it will continue to remain a global hub. Turkish police arrest the gunman who killed 39 people in a Turkey nightclub on New Year's Day from Istanbul. 4 others detained. No one will emerge a winner in the event of a trade war, says Chinese President Xi Jinping in his first comments to the World Economic Forum. Says no point blaming economic globalization for the world's problems. After nearly 3 years, the search for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 has been suspended by Australia and Malaysia. And in sports, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal roll back the years as they put in dominating performances to reach the second round of the Australian Open. In the women's game, Serena Williams begins her campaign for a record 23rd Grand Slam crown with a shaky win against Belinda Bencic. First to Britain, where UK Prime Minister Theresa May has laid out her government's Brexit plan. May has laid out a 12-point plan for full withdrawal from the European Union. But she has also announced that Britain will go for a free trade pact with the European Union. May says the UK aims to be a truly global trade power even as it exits the EU. She said it's in Britain's interest that the European Union succeeds. For more on this story, we're now joined by Mandy Clark, WION's UK Bureau Chief. Mandy, give us the main highlights from Theresa May's speech.
Well, the main takeaway is that she is going for what called here a hard Brexit. There was hope among the people who really wanted to remain in the EU that she might take kind of a half-in, half-out approach. She said, nope, we're going to leave the single market, walk away from the free movement of goods and services and people, and start a new trade deal. So it's going to be a clean break. She's made it clear that they are leaving the European Union. In her speech, she made it clear that this is what the British people wanted. They wanted control over the UK borders, and that is a key part of being in the EU, is that you have to allow the free movement of EU nationals. She said that they couldn't compromise on that, so they will have to walk away from the EU. But she also had 3 messages. One message was for the wider European community that she's leaving. She said, although we're leaving the EU, we're still a very close friend and ally to Europe, and we're not leaving Europe. She wanted the trade negotiations to be friendly. She hopes that they can make a deal that will work for both sides. She wants a clean Brexit, one that promotes stability for both the European Union and also Britain. Another audience she was reaching out to was the wider world. She wanted to make it clear that Britain isn't anti-immigration, that they do want some of the top talent from around the world to come to Britain, to live in Britain, to prosper. And she did name out a few countries. One was India, the United States, and Middle Eastern countries as well. This is where she wants to reach out to make clear that Britain is an open, multicultural country. So she had 2 messages.
Absolutely, Mandy. Thank you so much for your input. That was WION's UK Bureau Chief Mandy Clark joining us tonight. Now, moving on, during a speech at the World Economic Forum, Chinese President Xi Jinping said that there is no point in blaming economic globalization for the world's problems, adding that no one would win a trade war. With these comments, Jinping has become the first Chinese president to address the World Economic Forum. His appearance comes as China is looking to play a greater role in global institutions amid rising protectionism in the US and Europe. In an oblique reference to Trump, she said that no one will emerge as a winner in a trade war, unquote. The incoming US leader has repeatedly accused China of carrying out trade policies that have led to massive US job losses and has threatened to slap tariffs of up to 45% on the country's goods.
把困扰世界的问题简单归咎于经济全球化，既不符合事实，也无助于问题解决。
The attacker who burst into a fashionable Istanbul nightclub on New Year's Eve and killed 39 persons in cold blood has been arrested. Investigators point to the Islamic State and promise further arrests and greater security. Here's a report.
He has been the most hunted man in the world for several weeks. The prime suspect who burst into Istanbul's fashionable Reyna nightclub and killed 39 people in an avalanche of bullets before they saw the first sun of the new year rise over the Bosphorus. Now he's been caught by 2,000 Turkish police and a special unit in an apartment in the city's Esenyurt district. And within barely a day of his arrest, Turkish authorities made it clear that Abdulkadir Masharipov, by his own confession, is no longer a mere suspect.
Terörist suçunu kabul etmiştir. Aynı zamanda yapılan incelemeyle parmak izi de uyuşmuştur.
But who is Masharipov? An Uyghur from China, or an Uzbek, a Tajik, or a Kyrgyz perhaps? Investigators will say little for now, other than to point out once again that the Islamic State has claimed the attack ostensibly as revenge for Turkey's bombing of northern Syria. But European media reports hold some clues. Masharipov was born in Uzbek but is a Tajik citizen. He had entered Turkey illegally and months before the carnage he unleashed. Police reportedly found $198,000, SIM cards and air pressure guns in one of the many apartments he changed. And poverty and illiteracy, often the causes of crime, do not seem to have troubled the butcher of Istanbul.
Abdulkadir Masharipov, kod adı Ebu Muhammed, Horasani Abdulkavi, Özbekistan doğumlu, 1983 Özbekistan doğumlu bir kişi. Afganistan'da eğitim almış ve 4 dil bilen, iyi yetiştirilmiş bir kişi, bir terörist.
Masharipov's prowess at Central Asian languages, but also Russian and Chinese, indicate that he may have been part of the 2,000-man strong Uzbek brigade, considered to be the Islamic State's toughest unit. According to some reports, Masharipov first came into contact with the IS in Syria. Others claim that he had also spent time in Afghanistan and possibly even Pakistan. Turkey's conservatives have for months denounced Western celebratory events like New Year's Eve as examples of debauchery and decadence, leading many to believe that growing intolerance in Turkey provides an easy breeding ground for Islamic State terrorists to attack foreigners and westernized Turks. Authorities will first strengthen security before trying to understand Masharipov's motives, of course. In any case, attacks upon innocent people in recent years have made it clear that terrorists most often need none. Padma Rao, WION.
Earlier, we spoke to WION's West Asia Bureau Chief Aanchal Vora about the attacker who was hiding in plain sight for over 2 weeks. Here is what she had to say.
Well, it is quite spine-chilling that he killed 39 people in that heinous attack and then just went back home to his 4-year-old son and his wife. He didn't even think of leaving town. He didn't think that he could be picked up by the police. Did he not worry that he'd done something wrong? What sort of a justification would he have given himself when he committed this crime and he felt so much at ease that he could just walk back to his child and his wife? He's been picked up from an area in Istanbul which lies on the European side. He came from Central Asia in 2015 and in 2016 he committed this heinous crime.
The search for Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 was suspended today, almost 3 years after it disappeared over the Indian Ocean in 2014. Families of the passengers were told about the development in an emailed statement. They were told that Australian authorities had concluded the search without success. Australia, Malaysia and China had been carrying out extensive search for the plane in the Indian Ocean for more than 2 years, focusing on a 120,000 square kilometer underwater search in the south of the Indian Ocean, but in vain. The doomed plane took off from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia on 8 March 2014 and vanished from the radar soon after. 239 passengers and crew were on board the plane when it is believed to have crashed into the Indian Ocean. A society in Kenya organized a beauty contest, but one of its kind, an unusual way of addressing the discrimination faced by those born with the genetic pigment disorder known as albinism in many countries of sub-Saharan Africa. Here's a report.
How does it feel to have white skin, live in sub-Saharan Africa and fear people who will pay more than $75,000 to chop off your body parts? Caucasians have conquered and exploited the length and breadth of Africa for thousands of years. But this is about albinos, native Africans afflicted by the rare skin disorder that robs people of their pigmentation. For every 1,000 children born in sub-Saharan Africa, where cousins often marry, one is an albino. But there is stigma, superstition and witch doctors who believe that the limbs of albinos contain magical powers and urge their patients to acquire them. Kenya's Albinism Society decided that enough is enough. To put an end to this evil belief, they chose a beauty contest, Mr. and Miss Albino. And the overjoyed contestants had plenty to say.
I love dancing, and I'm a social person. Sometimes I used even to forget that I look different. I've been wanting to do this thing for long.
For many rural African families of sparse means in education, a genetic defect in producing melanin is seen as a curse. And it's a belief that is sustained well into modern times, despite the prevalence of stringent laws and even the death penalty to prevent crime. One albino was reportedly hunted down in Kenya in 2008, while 2009 saw an escalation of albino killings in neighboring Tanzania. The horrific trend culminated in the dismembering of a 14-year-old Tanzanian boy in 2015. More than 200 witch doctors were arrested in the same year. Extreme poverty, too, has sometimes motivated body snatching, that of albino graves. The increase in crime against albinos has attracted widespread attention. Both regional and global groups are engaging with the problem and making efforts to remove the stigma that prevails in other countries further south, like Swaziland and Malawi, too. Not every contestant walked away with a prize or a crown, of course, but the mood at the contest was upbeat and positive.
Since I've gone first runners-up, I feel nice. It's very exciting, getting to know I can count on so many people.
The event offered candidates an opportunity of another kind too. The young men and women strutted the ramp, dressed not only in fashionable clothes, but also in professional uniforms. And the message? That albinos are as capable of excelling in various fields as anyone else. Padma Rao with Inga Mizileni, WION.
Time for another short break. More news on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, in India, the Central Information Commission on Tuesday directed the Central Board of Secondary Education to allow inspection of Class 10 and 12 school records of Union Minister Smriti Irani. There's been a controversy over the educational records of Irani, who was earlier the Education Minister. The Central Information Commission has rejected the contention of the Central Board of Secondary Education that Smriti Irani's school records were personal information. The Office of Union Minister of Textiles and the Holy Child Auxilium School, Delhi, from where she claimed to have passed out, have also been directed by the Commission to provide the roll number or reference number of Smriti Irani to the CBSE Ajmer, which possesses the records for the years 1991 and 93. And for more on this story, we're now joined by WION's chief domestic correspondent, Kartikeya Sharma. Kartikeya, what more details can you share with us at this point in time?
See, what the CIC has said, that this is not a personal document or this is not personal information of the minister, and this has to be shared. Now, the details have to be put in public domain. Now, to put in the larger political context, Ajay Makan, the former sports minister, he has been saying that Smriti Irani's educational records have to be put in public domain. Now, that was about the college degree. Now, this is about the school degrees. But the fact of the matter is that a number of RTIs have come, and we know that RTI is like a double-edged weapon. It can be used by civil society, it can be used by political parties against each other, and which was there for everyone to see when UPA was in power. Now, what has happened is, now this will have to be put in public domain. And Smriti Irani has been the target of the Congress attack on a number of grounds. Partially also because of the fact that she generated a lot of controversy out of the position she took, despite the fact that she was an HRD minister, and the controversy which took place within her own ministry because of her own ongoing battle with number of bureaucrats. That was the highest number of secretaries. Even the PROs given by the Press Information Bureau had left Smriti Irani's office. But by saying so, I would say that this is an ongoing larger battle between the Congress and the BJP, and Smriti Irani is just one part of it.
Absolutely, Kartikeya. Thank you for your inputs. That was WION's chief domestic correspondent, Kartikeya Sharma, reporting on that story from Delhi. With that, it's a wrap on this bulletin, but news continues here on WION. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.